Some would say that modern gaming's on the decline.
Is this game worth it? Does that answer your question?
Well, that's not true. There's great games to play, like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And also the first ever quadruple A game. Yeah, Skull and Bones. How can you not be hyped for PlayStation's biggest game yet? It cost them like $400 million, and it's been stated to be the future of PlayStation with Star Wars-like potential. That's right, Concord. This game's gonna be sick. The amount of terrible releases in the past couple of years have been not great. It almost seems like as the years go by, more games are riddled with microtransactions, are buggy, even unplayable, not finished, or just straight up dead on arrival. Other times you have studios who throw away what made their games special in the first place just to chase after the latest trends. But you know who this really doesn't apply to? That's right, Nintendo! Nintendo doesn't really care about trends that much. They just do things their own way. They also don't seem to be too interested in keeping up with graphics and realism. Mind you, you don't need the best graphics to make a beautiful game, so Nintendo just focused on what they do best, and so far, this worked out. I've never had a bad first-party Nintendo game. Like, ever. There's just not a thing. Like, Nintendo doesn't make bad games. To be honest, I've enjoyed most first-party Switch games I played.
That's it!
I said most. But this isn't unique to Nintendo. Other studios march to their own beat and do their own thing like Larian Studios. Larian released games like Baldur's Gate 3, which is probably one of my favorite games of all time. Yeah, I know I have way too many hours in this game. Don't worry about what mods I got. What separates Nintendo even from a studio like Larian is just how iconic their, like, every single Nintendo IP is. Like, every single one of their IPs are so goddamn recognizable. Even the most casual of casual gamers know who the f Mario is. Hell, even the old lady that lives on my block that sounds like Baby Prunes from SpongeBob knows who Mario is.
What are they selling?
Chocolates!
What?
Chocolates!
I can't hear you!
They're selling chocolates!
They're selling chocolate!
Yeah!
Now, with all that said, is Nintendo overrated? Well, it's a little complicated. On one hand, you have a company who seems to be really focused on making good games and having somewhat of a positive work culture, at least compared to other companies.
What's wrong with you?
On the other hand, you have a company that is relentless with copyright law, going after mods, emulation, and fan games, and having a big chunk of their retro games vaulted, and the classic games they do decide to release is behind a monthly subscription. Or sometimes they make a sick remaster and announce it and shadow drop it on the same day. But other times they might just release these games in a bundle, but for a limited time, causing it to be scalped. Nice.
You can't keep getting away with it!
To many, myself included, it's a stark contrast to the old Nintendo and the Wii shop, where every week you would get excited to see what classic games were added to it.
Matt!
Yeah, update day.
What?
New Wii titles.
What? I'm in the bathroom.
Update day for the Wii shopping channel.
It's funny because normally they do it at midnight, but it's like 11. It's like 11:15.
I can see the benefits of the Nintendo online subscriptions. Like, you pay monthly or yearly and you get a bunch of classic games, and some of these classic games you wouldn't have even played if they weren't on the shop. I mean, at least for me. But not having the option to buy it is just greedy. Like, I get it, but I don't have to like it. But usually, most of the time, most of these first-party games that are releasing on the Switch are pretty good, and they're solid and polished. So, like, in terms of modern games and Switch games that have been releasing, like, yeah, they're pretty solid. Like, I can't think of a single unpolished, buggy game that Nintendo has ever published. we need to talk about Pokemon. Look, you can say that you like Scarlet and Violet, that Nintendo doesn't develop these games. It's these schmucks who do. And I get it. If you like the games, that's fine. But this is a Nintendo exclusive game. I mean, they're the goddamn publisher. I know plenty of people who buy just a Nintendo Switch just to play Pokemon and Pokemon alone. If you have a game that pushes consoles, especially an iconic franchise like Pokemon, and have it in the state it was on release, is just absolutely crazy to me. Like, I can get behind Nintendo being a bit hands-off as a publisher, but to a point, right? And I know Nintendo, and probably by extension Game Freak, are not going after super realistic graphics, and that's fine. A game doesn't need realistic graphics to be a beautiful game. There are plenty of games that are beautiful and aren't the best graphically. I mean, Nintendo themselves have games that look beautiful on their own system. But my God, Scarlet and Violet is just an ugly looking mess. And I can see why some people, myself included, can see Pokemon as a bit overrated and by extension, Nintendo. If you were to ask me if the Pokemon franchise is overrated, I would say yeah. Yet somehow I find myself always coming back to Pokemon. No, not that one, not that one. But you can bet your ass I'm probably gonna check out the new Pokemon ZA game when it comes out.
Pizza time.
Why, you ask? Well, it's Pokemon. It's something me and a lot of people grew up with. It's nostalgia, it's iconic. It's one of those IPs that transcend generations. And you know what? Pokemon isn't alone. A good chunk of Nintendo's characters are just as iconic and simply recognizable. A new Mario game comes out? Hell yeah. A new Mario Party?
Oh no!
No!
Maybe he'll lose a star.
No! Give me Bowser minigame.
Fingers crossed.
Give me Bowser minigame.
Star, lose a
Give me
star.
Bowser minigame.
Lose a star, 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 lose a star. Lose one star.
Be right back.
I have never been prouder in all of my life.
Legend of Zelda, but you're telling me the breath is even more wilder than the last time? Yeah. There's always seems to be this hype surrounding Nintendo releases, especially when the games feature Nintendo's most iconic characters. Not saying there's no hype surrounding other games, but something feels special about a Nintendo release. It's reminiscent of Disney. I wouldn't be surprised if Pikachu becomes more recognizable than the Big Mouse.
To me, like that? You little piece of
Wait. So, does that mean Nintendo fans and Disney adults are the same? No. It can't be. So, is Nintendo overrated? Some will say yeah, and some will say no, but one thing's for certain, the hype surrounding these games are deserved. There's a reason Nintendo has some of the most passionate fans around. Yes, Nintendo will sometimes release a bad game or something you don't like, but you can't deny the impact Nintendo had in gaming. How they saved gaming way back when the entire gaming market crashed. They set trends and captured the gaming zeitgeist. Like, it's no secret that the Nintendo Switch was very successful. So successful, other companies literally started following suit. So I don't think they're overrated. However, I feel it's valid to be critical of Nintendo, especially when they're pulling shit like this.
Nintendo is suing Pocket Bear, which is the company that makes Palworld. And they're doing it not on the basis of copyright, so calm down, Nintendo Pokemon, shills.
This
Nintendo has had a bumpy history with Let's Plays and other video content created using their games and published to YouTube. For a while, they were claiming all the revenue for all the videos published that showed Nintendo game footage, then they backed off a bit, then there were more claims. It's been a real roller coaster.
and this.
A few months ago, Nintendo reportedly hit Captain Alex's Etsy store with a cease and desist, threatening to shut down the manufacturing and sale of multiple Joy-Con products, most notably Edicons, which feature custom-designed Joy-Con shells honoring the late Desmond Amofa. All the proceeds from the Edicon controller shells were donated to the JED Foundation, a mental health and suicide prevention charity.
I see the wire of that set.
But the man of stealth is our bingo.
Oh, it's not the chair.
Again!